First-generation college students are known for being academically deficient compared to their peers. Because of this, colleges provide extra academic resources to help them succeed. Although this can be a good thing, colleges shouldn't assume that all first-gen students need the same kind of help. Instead, they should just ask.
Nigel, you see this thing on Twitter that just popped up? Something about some hard-hit South Carolina town?
Really? What's it called?
It says, in a hard-hit South Carolina town, faithful and finances fuel political discussions. Something about Lancaster, South Carolina.
I think I heard about that. Weren't they like mentioning something from Forbes?
Yeah. I wonder what that's like.
I wonder.
Excuse me, that's where I'm from?
What? Really? Really?
Yeah, Lancaster, South Carolina.
What was that like living there?
I mean, it's not as bad as they say it was. It definitely kind of got poor when the textile mill shut down, but my family and I didn't mind. I mean, we've been living there for the past 18 years. We're used to it.
What was your family like? What did they do?
Well, I have two older brothers. I have a dad who works at UPS and a mom who works at Walmart.
So what's education like in a small town like that? Like, did your parents go to college?
No, they didn't.
What about your brothers? You said like two of them or something?
Yeah, they both tried, but they dropped out. I actually intend to be the first one in my family to graduate from college.
Oh, isn't that kind of like something we learned in writing class about that psychologist?
The Gordon Allport guy or something?
Yeah, him. He was talking about how like you're born into your family's social in-groups and you can't really like break away from them, but you're kind of like his little exception.
Yeah, something like that. You know, I always had that cliche dream of being a doctor ever since I was a kid, and I always knew that college was a requirement for that. But when it comes down to it, I guess I just see college as a way to get me a better job than my parents and to be more financially stable. And that's a common thing for first-gen students. I saw this one study where a lot of first-gen students said that higher education is an opportunity to achieve a greater job security and autonomy than their parents.
So if you're already like the exception, like to your family, if you're the first one, like what did you do different from, your parents and your two brothers?
Well, I actually left Lancaster when I was 16 to attend boarding school.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, I went there so I could be better prepared for college, so I was expecting the hard classes, but I wasn't expecting the culture. Like, all of these students, they had a lot more money than I had, and their parents were doctors and lawyers and professors, and, I'm just a small town girl with a UPS driver and a Walmart cashier as parents, so it was kind of difficult. And that's when I started to feel a little overwhelmed. And then with all the workload and classes, I started falling behind. Some studies suggest that first-gen students have lower GPAs and SAT scores compared to their peers, and for a while that was me. I mean, eventually I figured it out, but it took me a little extra time than my peers.
So do you think things would have been a little bit different had you like gone to public school?
I actually have a friend, her name's Jess. She's a first-generation college student too, and she's from public school.
You think I'd be able to talk to her about it a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, wait, there she goes.
Oh, right there.
So what was the transition like coming from a public high school to a college like Wake Forest?
It's very different in the sense that we have a lot of resources here, and that's kind of very different from high school, because in high school, if you didn't go look for the resources and go see your counselor and make an effort, they didn't really try to help you get to college. They just tried to help you graduate. They didn't really care about grades too much. And here, like, if you're like failing or if you're having a hard time, you go meet with your professors, and your professors care, and like you'll get emails from like academic advising people or like the learning center and stuff, and they try to help you here a lot more than they did in like public high school, just because there's so many kids.
Can you talk about your experience with the summer bridge program?
Yeah, I liked it. We had 2 classes every day, and then we'd have tutoring. And a lot of people didn't really like the tutoring, but I felt like it just helped us in the sense that if we needed help, we had it there, and it also forced us to like work and ask questions, and they generally just tried to help you when you were there to make sure you got your work done and that you weren't behind in any of your classes. And it just really helps to know that there's somebody there looking out for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just talked to her, and even though y'all like did come from different backgrounds, y'all kind of came into college like the same thing. She talked about some summer bridge program. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was like a program where you could take 2 extra classes in the summer for first-generation students. I mean, it was nice getting to know people, but they kept like making us go to tutoring every day. We only had 2 classes a day. We had 3 hours of tutoring, and like I just didn't really appreciate the extra help. Like the tutors gave me advice, like don't put text lingo in your essay, or they would read out our homework assignments every day, like I'm in elementary school. So I didn't really like it.
A lot of colleges hold pre-orientation programs for first-gen students, and that was what the Summer Bridge program was for me and Jess. The programs are said to believe to ease the socioeconomic and cultural transformation, and they provide special resources like access to faculty, staff, tutors, and professors before the school even starts. It is believed that colleges have the responsibility to satisfy the needs of first-gen students, including social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. And these needs are believed to be satisfied through the pre-orientation programs and special resources provided for first-gen students.
So we just came back from Thanksgiving break. So what was it like being back at home as the college kid?
Well, I mean, like my parents are so excited for me, so they like to talk to me about it, and they don't really understand what's going on, but they're just so supportive. It's great. But like I said, I have 2 older brothers who both dropped out of college, so I kind of feel like tension with them, almost guilty in a way, when my parents give me that kind of attention in front of them. It's actually a thing called family achievement guilt. First generation college students may feel it. They just feel guilty for surpassing their family's achievements. So it's kind of a common thing.
So after all the stuff that you've gone through so far, like being the first generation college student and whatnot, is there anything you'd like to go back and like change?
I think there should be more pre-orientation programs, and I would like it if they had more emotional support rather than just academics.
But like I talked to Jess, and she liked the academic part.
Well, yeah, I guess it just depends on the person and where they come from. I just don't think that we all need the same kind of help. So what I'm trying to say is just don't assume, just ask.